Hello everyone, it's Ninshy here. I decided to talk to you guys in a little bit of a different accent, just for the fun of the video. Um, this is a much more personal project that I'm actually going to talk to you guys about. This is going to be the first little vlog of many that are going to really encompass this topic. Now, if you guys have been following me on my YouTube channel, the couple of you, if you've ever seen any of my videos as of late, recently you've noticed that I've been talking a lot about a project called Conduit Reminiscence. Reminiscence is a project that we are working on to do, partnering up with a lot of people from the Conduit community, from the social aspects, the competitive aspects, the montage scene, the community as standpoints from people who created websites such as the Conduit Portal, HVS Network, even the Sega forums, Game Facts, even RGM boards as well. And the real purpose of the project itself is to personally get involved with a lot of the people to share our stories. The purpose of Reminiscence, by reminiscence by definitions, is to remember. And we want this game to live on because we don't really know for a fact that Conduit 3 is going to happen. Of course, all of us are very optimistic in that sense, and we really do want it to happen. There have been little bits and pieces of significance that suggest a possibility of some furthering of the Conduit series, but we're not 100% sure if it's going to be mobile, if it's going to be on Wii U. So the big thing here that I'm really trying to talk about is what is the Reminiscence Project. It is a video documentary where everybody is sharing their feelings. They're sharing what the game had did for them, what their story is, where they came from, what Conduit did for them. For example, some friends of mine got deeply invested into editing, and now they edit for Halo and even Call of Duty videos solely because they started out on Conduit and they were editing, but they were pushed further throughout that game because everybody wanted to see what they could do next, how they could work this game further. And I believe it really helped a lot of them out in the long run. Me myself, I wouldn't be doing YouTube or even competitive gaming in general if I hadn't picked up the Conduit game, because I mean, I was playing Halo and I played Smash Bros. I knew Smash Bros. Competitively, but I wanted to do a first-person shooter, but I didn't really want to necessarily go to Xbox or PlayStation to try and to pursue that. I wanted a game on a Nintendo console because I feel like Nintendo is so overlooked in the gaming industry that I thought it would be beautiful and a fantastic way to bring it out. And of course, Smash Bros. Was like one of the first games on my mind for that. But then the Conduit came out and I saw the potential of the game and I saw what it could really be. It was essentially, at bare bones, it was a Halo on a Nintendo console. That's really what it was. Even though I'm pretty sure HVS is a beautiful accident, didn't aspire to make it that way, or really were looking for it to happen like that, but they wanted to just give us a definitive first-person shooter on a console that no one believed could hold it. And it was absolutely an incredible game, and I loved the first game. As though I have my gripes with the second game and didn't particularly love it, I still enjoyed the second game to a degree, and I really believe that this was a beautiful series, and I'm not the only one in it. There were several websites created, like I said, the Conduit Portal, HVS Network, the Grinder Network at one point still contained the contents of Conduit on it. Sega forums, the Game Facts forums, even the IGN boards. Everybody had a lot of hype for the game. A lot of people bought it and have no regrets. The game is still being played to this day. Conduit 1 and Conduit 2. Full lobbies, you can find them, and people are still playing up to this point. It's especially important that we do this documentary now with Nintendo deciding to shut off the servers at 5/20, which is, May 20th, which is about, I believe, 10 days before Mario Kart 8 comes out. So, with that being said, what is it really that we're looking for? I'm going to go into a little bit of specifics. I'm going to try to explain it in a way that will help you guys out, give a little bit of some in-depth understanding of what it is that we're trying to do. So, inside here, I'm going to go to my Skype conversation, which is an option that I will talk about later if you guys want to send me footage of your own, because this is open to the public. I'm just making the video so that people know more about it, and I hope this gets shared around a lot, talked about a lot with a lot of people, because I really do want this to expand a lot further. And I need as much footage as I can possibly get so that I can send it to my good buddy Misfit and have him personally edit the video together, put the pieces in the right order, and have us have a really long video. I'm shooting for a very decent length because obviously this is a documentary, so I'm just looking for anywhere between 30 minutes worth of footage and very much so longer. Because obviously we're going to be cutting. These are going to be like little segments in here and here and there. But I'll get into that as I go down the line of the information that I have here for you guys today. So of course I'm going to load up my Skype here. As you can see, this is the group conversation that I have with some of the key people that I know from the community that are on my current Skype that I wanted to really invest in this situation. So the first thing I want to talk about are what are the topics to really discuss before I actually just lay out the entire framework of the documentary, what the premise is, what the idea is, and so on. So to start, as I reinforced yesterday to everybody, I mean, we had talked about this in separate conversations, but as I laid it out perfectly, because seeing how the time is really starting to crunch down on us, we really want to get this done. The deadline was originally set for March. I am going to extend it quite a bit further. I'm going to extend it to April, obviously, and even possibly May. I might do it all the way up until when the servers close. And then once the servers are closed, that's when we'll really have the more time to edit it all together and put it together. I was originally trying to shoot to upload it on April 19th, which is the anniversary of Conduit 2. But because I'm so dedicated to this and I really do want this to be as good as it possibly can be, I decided that I'm going to bypass that desire and really focus on putting this out as beautifully as possible. So this may come out. It can still very well come out in April, depending on when I get the content. But if not, it will be looking at possibly if not May, it would be like June, July, the latest, probably August or September, and that is probably the furthest I'm willing to like go as far as to put it out as an actual deadline to put out the video. But we're gonna see what happens. Hopefully, it could possibly take a little bit longer if I see how well it's being put together, or it could happen a lot sooner depending on how quickly it's being put together. So the first thing I want to talk about here, as I'm sure you guys have already started rating, is the documentary topics of interest and how they are as follows. The first topic here is personal stories, recollections, and memories. This goes as far as anything that you want to talk about, how you encountered the game, how you found out about it, what you did to actually get the game. If you want to say that you were out at a midnight release waiting in line while everybody else was picking up one game, you picked up Conduit and you wanted to play it, or you had to get it the next morning like I did, and you picked the game up, ran home, tried to play it as quickly as possible, and you were just trying to fine tune everything and become the best player you could be. It can be anything like that as far as personal stories. You can talk about how the game really changed things for you, how much you love the game. Talk about some times that you had playing the game. Even if you didn't like the game personally, talk about why you didn't like it, what you thought could have been better. It's just your personal feelings and aspirations about the game, whether you felt it was just a little clunky, if you felt it was slow, if you thought it wasn't exactly perfected. However you want to feel about it, just it's good for you to share it right now. There's no biased opinions. We're open to all types of things. We just want to know everybody's story and what the game really did do for them. Memories will really consist of anything as far as like, once again, things that happen to you from the game. Like, for example, you can say that you built a team with a bunch of your friends and you guys really bonded and now you have closer friendships because of the game. Or even like, you remember a funny moment where your friend threw a grenade over cross map on a private match and it blew you up or something and it killed you, and you laughed and you guys were laughing the entire day. Or even when you went into like the debug room and everybody was dicking around and having fun. Just little personal stories, whatever you want to talk about, though. That's really what that encompasses. The second thing now is feelings, impacts brought on by the game, changes in your life, etc. I pretty much just covered that, but just to give it a little bit more emphasis, like I said, for me personally, I wouldn't have entered competitive gaming and YouTube the way that I have now if it wasn't for this game. I've been playing this game for several years. It's been the most influential game I think that I've ever touched. It really inspired me to do more, even with everything that I do now with videos, vlogs, editing, aspirations, and dreams. It's just like playing this game and knowing that I stuck to something that people would never have stood by and stuff. It just really helps me out a lot, and it makes me remember that if you have the drive for something, you can make it happen. Third on the list here would be key players. Now, there are several with key players. This is something that if you have the knowledge on it, of course, speak about it. If you don't really talk about it, because we have some primary members in the community that will be personally talking about this. So it's perfectly okay if you don't have any information on any of these players. It's perfectly fine. You don't really have to. This really doesn't really apply to the general public, but of course there are people that are general public and people that are part of these communities that know these players, and we really did want them to speak a little bit about these players and the things that were going on. So to assess the key players, Lact, a lot of you probably know Lact from Call of Duty, but originally he was playing Conduit. We also called him James, which is actually his real name, and we were playing with him for a very long time, and he was a wonderful player. He was actually really amazing. We used to crack jokes saying that he had a modded Wiimote. So you'll probably hear about that in the documentary. Helsing, which I believe still to this day is probably the god of Conduit. He has the greatest trigger finger out of any player that I've personally seen. I remember we were playing and he took like about 5 of us on at once. So that's one player. G Carter, also known as the Option, he was an editor and also a great player as well. If you go to my Ghost of Suke for the Win channel, you can actually see a couple of his montages. I believe Crawling is there. I believe Never Surrender and Death of Me. So there you can watch those. Leslie is known as, it was Leslie slash Sinister. She was one of the female players actually of the game. And while I don't personally know too much about her, I know that her and Carter were pretty close, and she was pretty close to a couple of players in the community. So if you know Leslie or you know of Sinister, however you know her by, and you have something you want to say about her, feel free to talk about it, how you felt her gameplay was, how skilled she was as a person, even though she was a girl, however you want to feel. Not to say girls aren't good, but some people have that misconception. Ghosty is myself. That is me from my previous gamer tag before I decided to become Ninshy. It is one of my many gamer tags. If you guys have seen my videos, you know about how I went through a lot of different changes. But I ran the name Ghosty for a very long time, and I ran it on Conduit. And the thing with that is the reason why I'm included in this. I don't want it to sound biased or like because I'm making the video I had to be a key player. The truthful reason why I'm a key player is because when I joined the Conduit portal, thanks to Lax, because I had a lot of trouble with HVS Network and a person named Prem. Prem decided to kick me from the website, and I went to going to Conduit portal because of Lax. Lax found me on YouTube and he contacted me. And with that, I ended up really introducing a very large competitive side to this game, and I released it. I was talking to them. I was looking very closely at Halo and the similarities, so I could give them the best possible outlets as far as a competitive scene for the Conduit. And I was also a huge person with the montage scene. I was helping people edit. I was giving people ideas. I was talking about montages, reviewing them, everything. So that is why I am personally involved in this project as a key player. Let me see here. After me, it is more may be added. We're thinking of keeping it at just that 5, but there's a possibility we might add 1 or 2 more players. So I mean, if we do, there'll be an update and I'll mention it. But I'm not too sure if that's going to happen right now. Next in line, of course, what I was just speaking about was the montage scene. This uprising. The montage scene was basically, how did you feel from a spectator standpoint, or if you were a montage maker yourself, how did you feel from your personal standpoint making montages for the game? Was it difficult for you? Was it interesting to try and rework things once cinematography was deciphered on how to make it happen in Conduit? How did you use it? Did you like it? Did you decide to really kind of manipulate it to your better benefit? How did just the montage scene in general help you? Was it entertaining to you? Did you like it? Did you hate it? However you felt about it, just that is what the montage scene in its uprising and that little influx of constant montages that was happening with the kind of put on montage contest and my channel goes that's looking for the win. Just however you felt about that personally, that's really what we want to hear. Underneath that is the competitive scene, its uprising. This again is much like the montage scene. If you ever saw competitive matches, how did you feel about them? How did you feel about game battles? How did you feel about people that were playing the game competitively in general? If you were on the Conduit portal or even HVS Network, how did you feel about tournaments? How the game played? How it was competitive for you? Did you enjoy? Did you have fun? Did you build a team? Did you enjoy building a team? Did you enjoy playing with a bunch of like a team of 4 or 5 even to try and take out other people for recognition as number 1? How did it personally feel for you? How was it great building the clans, the teams, the scrimmages, the games, all of that stuff? That's really what that really encompasses. Next here is community strengths and weaknesses from your view. Now, this is more related to the forum sites, how people acted, how you felt interacting with everyone, talking with them, playing with them, and really just getting to know the actual general Conduit community. And if you really enjoyed it, and if it was something that was personally enjoyable for you, or whether you hated, you thought some people were douchebags or assholes, really, that's perfectly fine too. Just share how you feel about it. It's just how did you feel inside the community or watching the community from the outside looking in. Underneath that, we have transitioning to Conduit 2 / talking to HVS. As you guys know, there was a little tidbit from E3 where we saw Conduit 2, and then everybody wanted to give out information. HVS now is a very unique company in the sense that they really do listen to their market, the core market, the people that play. But ultimately, with Conduit 2, they did actually want to listen to a couple of misguided attempts to try and improve the game. I myself personally was always emailing HVS and trying to talk to developers. I still talk to them now to this very day sometimes about possibly making Conduit 3 or porting Conduit HD over to Wii U, whatever the case may possibly be. Now, with that being said, how do you personally feel about Conduit 2? What was it like transitioning from Conduit 1 to Conduit 2? The hype building up towards the game, and then actually playing the game and seeing what it turned out to be. Did you like it? Did you actually wind up hating it? How did you really feel? Was it good for you? Was it a bad game? Do you feel the game could have been better? Do you feel the game was just, it should have been more like Conduit 1? Do you feel like it should, have just been how it was fine, it was good for you? How do you personally want to feel about it and explain it? Because, it's okay to have varying opinions in this documentary, because the truth of the matter is, we're not trying to have it really all uniform. We're trying to just share our own personal experiences and share them with the world. It's like a document of our love of this game, whether we like our visions for the series, what we want to see happen, what we don't want to see happen, and hopefully it'll be a benchmark for HVS in their future games if Conduit does end up dying right where it is. But if not, maybe they continue the game and they really take from this and hear the majority feel of the game, and even the other side, just to understand it. So that really covers transferring to Conduit 2 and talking to HVS. Underneath that would be hopes and dreams for the future, segments on where you are now because of the game. Once again, this is kind of more of like a recollection kind of wrap-up thing, where basically we go back and talk about now that the game has been played, now that the game is done, you've had Conduit 1, you've had Conduit 2, or you had Conduit 1, or you only had Conduit 2, whatever the case may be, and the years have gone by now, you're probably not playing the game anymore, or you could still be playing it. Where are you now? Do you still play the game? Do you still have a love for it? Do you still have hope that Conduit 3 will happen? Do you have hopes that Conduit HD on mobile will be transported over to Wii U? Do you have hopes to see another Conduit game or another game like Conduit, or do you believe the game is a legacy? How do you really feel now about everything from where you are? And then your hopes and dreams, like I said, aspirations for the game. What do you hope to see for the future? Do you want something better? Do you want something more refined, more innovative? Whatever the case is, that is really what that segment there is meant to discuss. Underneath that now we have summary of Conduit, final impressions, emotions, and more. This is basically your closing statements. How would you summarize the game? What are your final feelings and personal things about the game in general? And just from there, it really is just what it is, You share your final thoughts and feelings, your summary of what you think Conduit really is, and then you're good. Now then, because we are we've kind of gone a little bit into detail here for quite a little bit, I'm going to actually read through this and try and give you guys a little bit of insight. I'm not going to go too in depth about it because I feel that this entire piece here is quite self-explanatory. But if anything, you have any questions, you can feel free to contact me here on YouTube. You can put comments in the description below. I'll try to read as many as I can and reply to you. But obviously, I can't guarantee that I'll get to everybody's questions. You can also tweet at me. My Twitter will be down in the description below, and I'll also answer you there. If possible, when I get to explain how you can submit clips to me, I will certainly be open to the idea of talking to you a little bit over email or even over Skype in a chat message to answer any possible questions that you may have. But okay, so let's crack into it. So it's Conduit Reminiscence, a Conduit documentary, details. So basically it says here, this post contains all information on the Conduit documentary project. The goal of the documentary is really just to share our stories, our experiences, and our favorite moments playing the game. The friendships we made, the bonds we all shared, and best of all, the drives we all have as one. I think this is a good way to kind of show our heart for the series, as short-lived as it was. Alright, now, so the main things I really want to cover and sincerely want to go into in the documentary are the following: personal stories, how you came into contact with the game and what it did for you; viewpoints from those that played in competitive matches, how competitive changed things for you or how you felt about it as a whole; perspectives on the game in general, if you liked it or disliked it and why; feelings on the transition to Conduit 2, thoughts, inputs, perspectives, etc. The montage community, what making montages was like, or from a viewer's opinion, how was it? Anything else the game may have done for you. Obviously, I already kind of went into this in the earlier details, so you pretty much understand what that is encompassing. The documentary will also contain 2 separate types of footage, and these are. Now, this is actually kind of important. It's very important for you to actually understand this. one-on-one, which is basically kind of like an interviewing segment. So when you're looking at the actual the topics that, like you saw earlier that I was talking about, kind of think of it as if you are being asked a question, or even if possible, have a friend of yours who is filming ask you the question, ask, like, kind of create questions centered around it, so that way it kind of helps you direct your focus in conversation, and make it like it's a regular conversation and you're just talking about the game and how you feel. But basically, yes, one-to-one recording of you talking about the above aspects. If you have input on any, feel free to express it. You don't have to talk about everything, but what you have opinions on, feel free to express them. The next is B-roll footage. B-roll footage consists of things like you playing the game, you editing a montage if you wanna, or if you wanna do like a little mock-up thing of you like typing on your computer and moving your mouse to edit something, your controller, your gaming setup, your room, you outside walking with friends, you going to a friend's house to play some video games, whatever the case may be. Just nice little B-roll footage, just basically some IRL stuff that will encompass, just kind of where you are now, or what you're doing, or what you used to do, or or whatever the case may be. So yeah, it consists of things like playing the game, other shots of you in real life. This can include traveling to friends' houses to play, and just all those things that I just mentioned a moment ago. The major must for this is to really share our in-depth feelings and how our lives will change from just playing this game and getting a chance to experience it. We also want this to be in a high quality, so as high a quality as possible. Seeing as how most people have cameras or iPhones or Android devices that record in high quality, if not, I'm sure you can find a friend or two that does. We would prefer videos be at minimum in 720p or higher. This is very important because the thing of it is, when we put it in 480p, when we stretch it out to max to 16:9 aspect ratio, the quality gets a little fuzzy, it gets kind of blocky, digitized, it's not really beautiful. We want this all to be seamless, looking very good. 1080p would be the best possible thing, but 720p is perfectly fine. As far as an official deadline, well, like I already told you, that the deadline has been kind of shifted a little bit. So, we want to have a little bit of time for editing and putting everything together, possibly making changes, etc. But you guys don't really have to worry about that. Like I said, the documentary finishing time will probably be around, like, closer to June, July. The latest, August, September. Alright, so next here, the documentary will be released on multiple channels. I'm thinking about a personal channel to put this on, but right now it'll be on my Ghost of Sugar for the Win channel, and it will also be on Misfit 007, or Misfit 003, I'm sorry. But if not Misfit 003, it might actually go on Solo's personal channel, and as well as maybe a couple others. So, you guys can look out for that. If you would like to release the video on your own channel, just let me know, and I'll make a note of it for the future. The more footage we get in now, the better, because I would like to release a small trailer to get the word out. Obviously, I'm doing this little vlog to get the word out, but I would also like to release a trailer. So personally, if you can get the more footage that we get in now, the sooner we can put out a trailer and hopefully get more people involved, and then sooner the video will come out. That is the idea. So, hopefully that can possibly happen. From that point, I believe this should really answer any and all questions. Just some additional thoughts and things for you to keep in mind. Big things that we want you to know is video quality 720p to 1080p, 16:9 widescreen. Include additional info on your video. Like, this will just make it a little easier for me. Like, include a title slide, letting me know, like, when certain footage starts. Like, if you want to break it down into, like, separate videos, even like a video package, and break it down to each segments that you're talking about. Or if you want to do one big video and split the video into two parts between B-roll footage and your actual conversation, your interview part, that would be beautiful. Just add a little title slide, let me know what times those are. So this way, it's a lot easier for me to know what I'm watching, what I'm looking for, and what to send to where. You understand what I'm saying? If that makes a lot of sense to you guys. So yes, like I said, include additional information, things like that. Have a good angle when recording. Like, try to have it, like, right on your face, like, kind of like a good distance there. Like, have it like a little bit of your body in it. It's on your face where we can see you talking about the game. You can be standing, sitting down. If you're someone who's camera shy and you're not really comfortable talking in front of the camera, have your friends have the camera somewhere and just have a regular conversation with you. So this way, it looks like this way, while you're not really focused on the camera, it's like we can see you talking about the game and having a little bit of enjoyment in it, and just laughing, talking about all type of stupid things that are happening in the game, and just sharing your story. It'll make it a little easier for you when you're having an actual conversation with someone. The other most important thing here, and I cannot really stress this enough, avoid noisy areas, because the thing of it is we have to EQ that out, and that's very difficult to do. So preferably if you can get it in a nice little quiet room, or like, somewhere where it's noise is really at a minimal. So that's why when we put it all together, it comes very clean and clear without any question. That would be really the best possible thing that you could do for us. So if you can do that, please, 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 I cannot emphasize this enough, please do that. Get a nice quiet area, talk with a friend for a little bit. I mean, you could do it in little segments at a time, and I believe that would be the best possible thing. If anything else arises, of course, I'll be doing more updates about this. And the place of choice where I would like you to send all of your clips, send it to kylehunter373@gmail.com. That is my email, of course. Put Conduit Documentary in the subject line, or something about your video that'll make me know that it's about the Conduit Documentary. You can just type Reminiscence, however you want to do it. And personally, that would be a really big help to me. Like I said, the most important things are keeping a good angle. Don't be in a noisy area. You don't necessarily have to keep where you're filming uniform, but it would be best if you just do it all at once instead of like, some today, some another day. But either way, it doesn't really matter to me, as long as you keep it relatively uniform, or basically that you're doing what you need to do and talking about everything, and it's in 720p and it's not really noisy, so we don't have to EQ anything out. I'm generally happy. But yes, guys, it's really gonna cover it for this little vlog here that I'm doing. If you have any questions, again, you guys can email me. Feel free. My Twitter's down in the description below, where you can tweet at me and I'll give you better answers. It'll be a lot easier for me on Twitter. And yeah, so this is the Conduit Reminiscence project. I really want to get this started and really get it going. I'm gonna be recording my segments actually this weekend. It's already Saturday now, of course, so I'm gonna be recording them most likely tomorrow. But yeah, feel free. You guys aren't too late to get your stuff in. Just feel free to submit it to me, and then it will be going to my good buddy Jordan, who will be holding onto the clips, and then he will be, of course, editing them, putting everything together. He's going to be the one who's really deeply looking into it with me, so this way we know what pieces are usable, what pieces aren't. If we see that you send us something that isn't usable and we still have time to get it in, I would most certainly email you back and let you know that what is wrong with your video, and if you can possibly fix it up to get it a little bit better. But yes, guys, that is really going to cover everything. Like I said, a video camera will be really important for you to have it, especially for this video, because obviously this is a video documentary. We want to see you and hear you talk about your story. But yes, guys, I believe that is going to cover everything today. And hopefully you guys get involved, become a part of the documentary, and become part of this wonderful, wonderful project. I thank you guys very much for your assistance and all of your help, and personally wish you all the best. Alright, guys, this has been Ninshy. I want you to tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your grandma, your grandpa, your kids, your kids' kids, your grandma's kids' kids, all the people in your neighborhood, your neighbors, your next door neighbors, your super neighbors, your neighbors 2 doors down, however you want to do it. Let everybody know to come to the Ninshy channel. Let them know about this video too. If they played Conduit, let them get involved. Tell your friends. Alright, guys, take it easy.